Welcome to some Christmas Devos. This is Christmas week, and we are hoping that you are excited and celebrating all that Christmas means as we focus on worshiping the true and living King that came to us in such a lowly way. We're going to be examining this week Christmas surprises, and I hope that you're excited to learn some Christmas surprises. These are different random thoughts. I've been working through Christmas messages for decades, so there's always these random tidbits of things that I always think about and don't get to preach entire sermons about. So there's several that I want to bring to your attention, but today I want to tell you the one thing that the Christmas story needs to be mentioned, that needs to be mentioned about the Christmas story that very infrequently is. The Christmas story wasn't Christmassy. It wasn't very Christmassy. When we think of Christmassy, you know what you think of. You think of like the snow-covered hills. You think of those beautiful lights. You think of trees. You think of family all gathered together. Well, that was actually the opposite of the atmosphere surrounding the Christmas story, and Jesus is coming to the earth. If you know anything about the Christmas story in the Bible, you'll know that the contrast is very stark compared to the way that we celebrate Christmas. Jesus' arrival was literally an earth-shattering event that brought all these forces together with a lot of adversity. Specifically, if you remember in the story, King Herod, if there was a lot written about him by Bill O'Reilly, regardless of whether you like Bill O'Reilly for his politics or whatever, I don't care. He wrote a book about Jesus' life called Killing Jesus. And he talks about King Herod as being one of the most paranoid and delusional leaders that ever existed. Herod was so delusional that he had members of his family executed because he was afraid that they would try to overthrow his kingdom. But when the idea of this God Messiah, this king that was going to be born, started to shuffle around this idea to him, he became even more paranoid, and it caused an infanticide, slaughter on his part. In Matthew chapter 2, verse 16, it says, "Then Herod, when he saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, because the wise men didn't report to Herod where Jesus was, it says he became furious, and he sent and killed all the male children in Bethlehem and in all that region who were 2 years old and under, according to this time that he had ascertained from the wise men." Now you see that, and you're like, wow, Pastor Sam, this is dark. It's Christmas week. Why are you leading us off with this? What's the point? If we're not going to be joyful, we focus on this. I don't want to focus on this. I do want to focus on that despite the evil that was meant to happen in the time of the Christmas story, and the evil that did happen, good triumphs. If the Christmas story tells you anything, it's that God is capable of taking the most beautiful thing from the darkest thing. If you need a reminder of this, simply look at the cross and then marvel at the power of the resurrection. You cannot escape the fact that God loves taking a dark scene and flooding it with the light of his presence. The Christmas story reminds us what God is actually capable of when we completely stand by and trust him even though the circumstances are dark. So regardless of what your circumstances are this Christmas, regardless of where you find yourself in terms of celebration, just know that you might not be feeling Christmassy, but the spirit of Christmas belongs to the Spirit of the living God. And that God can take the darkest night and turn it into the most glorious and beautiful morning.